What's up, guys? West Pruitt, 4 Star Sports Media. You're inside the Sports Buffet special Wednesday night edition. It's going to be a fun show. We've got Stephanie Prothro, Memphis Softball coach, going to be joining us here shortly to break down the Women's College World Series. We're down to the final 3 games of the year. It's between two Big 12 teams currently. Once this season transpires, they will be moving over to the SEC. That's another conversation for a whole nother day. 7 p.m. tonight, so it's just starting off. They play tonight. They play again tomorrow night. They play again Friday night if necessary. But Texas and Oklahoma are battling it out. It's going to be a wild series. Total series for the season is tied 2-2. Texas is starting a freshman tonight. She was the last time Texas was in the College World Series was 2019. That girl was a junior in high school. She's now starting out on the mound tonight for Texas. And then Oklahoma starts the transfer. Her name slips my mind. I'm sorry. She's starting tonight. She pitched really well against Florida. When you look at Oklahoma as a team, besides the starter tonight, the team's ERA is over 7. They started tonight, I believe her ERA is like 2.39, 2.40. But going to be a very exciting weekend of sports. College World Series is always fun. You got Omaha right around the corner too. There's supers going to be happening this weekend. But College World Series for the women's College World Series is a hot topic. I mean, we saw Florida give Oklahoma everything they wanted. Had to go down to a final game where Oklahoma ended up winning to move on to play Texas. Waiting on Stephanie Prothro to join us. She'll be in here shortly. It's going to be a lot of fun. This tournament is always a lot of fun. When you look at the Big 12, it's been very well represented. Over the last 3 years, 83% of the teams that make it to the finals have come from the Big 12. It is the first time that one league has had both teams in 2 of the 3 title matchups since the Pac-12 did it 4 consecutive times between 2001 through 2004. And the Big 12 has also been represented in the championship series 5 out of the last have represented in the championship series for 5 consecutive seasons and now 7 of the last 8. Should be a lot of fun. Texas is loaded. They got power. They can hit. I mean, when you look at these two teams, 57 wins for Oklahoma this year in softball is insane to me. 57-7, 22-5 in the Big 12. I mean, it's pretty impressive. I mean, Oklahoma won their first 12, 15 games. Their first loss was on March 3rd to Louisiana, and that was 7-5 in 8 games. And I mean, when you look at Texas gave Oklahoma 2 of these 7 losses that we're talking about earlier in the year. They took them on. Texas took them on April 5th, 6th, and 7th. It was in Texas. Oklahoma won the first game 5-2. Texas won the second game 2-1, and the third game 2-1. So both these teams come in averaging roughly 8 runs a game. Which is, when you look at the season series, it's kind of impressive because that's really good pitching. That's really good defense because both teams score 7-8 runs a game and they're being held at 2-3. So very, very impressive. Both these teams are talented, loaded. We know Oklahoma's good. We know Texas is good. It's going to be, like I said earlier in the show, it's going to be very interesting to see how these two teams do in the SEC. It's going to be very interesting to see how the SEC teams do, traveling down to Austin, Texas, and traveling over to Norman to take on Oklahoma. We've got a comment here in the comments section. John Sturbit said Texas 3, calling it now. OU ERA is like at 7 right now. Texas will win first game. OU wins second. Texas wins game 3. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Thank you for commenting, John. We appreciate everybody watching and listening right now. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Also live on our website, too. So we appreciate everybody watching and listening. We're talking College World Series tonight. Women's College World Series. Oklahoma, Texas is the topic. little late night, whatever you want to call it. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Waiting on Stephanie Prothro to jump in here shortly. When she does, we'll get her in there to break it all down. Also talk some Memphis Softball as well. Man, this is going to be, I mean, when you look at Texas comes in at 55-8 on the season, 23-4 in conference play. And their first loss was on February the 24th in a tournament to Stanford. And at that time, Stanford was ranked 12th. So, I mean, Texas is now number one in the country, well-deserved. Big 12 Player of the Year. They were talking about her earlier, young lady from Texas. And they were talking about how she's improved, but the way she improved. And we'll talk with Stephanie Prothro about this too. But the way she's improved is she just shortened her stance, brought it down, crouched a little bit more, and that's been able to let her have the bat go all the way through the strike zone versus standing up tall and having to reach for the strike zone. When you look at Oklahoma right now, all-time Oklahoma right now, Jada Coleman, who's played from 2021 till now, has scored 282 runs. Tierra Jennings from Oklahoma is got 276. So she possibly, and I don't know how she possibly could catch her right now and this is all-time Big 12. All-time Big 12 numbers. Jennings from Oklahoma also sits second all-time behind Iowa State's Sammy Williams that played from 2017 to 2021. She has 65 doubles right now throughout her career at Oklahoma. So, I mean, you look at this, I mean, very, very, very impressive. Very impressive. This team's loaded. Absolutely loaded. And then you look, they've had they've had 6 no-hitters this year. Mac Morgan threw the most recent one. That was on May 17th when they beat Sierra 5-0 in 7 innings. She threw 7 innings, had 4 strikes. That's impressive. That's a lot of perfect games. That's a lot. Yeah, I mean, Reese Atwood, Player of the Year. That's the girl from Texas I was talking about earlier that just, shortens her stance. John said it's 2-0 right now. 2-run bomb from Oklahoma. Nice. Very nice. So OU is up 2-0 right now on Texas in game 1. Very interesting. Very interesting. That's, like I talked about earlier, Texas has a freshman on the mound. Could she be rattled? 2-run home run tells me, Oklahoma's good. Let's not make any bones about it. Oklahoma's very, very talented. They can play. But man, you start a freshman game 1, that's tough. That's tough. Very tough. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we will get hopefully get Stephanie Prothro. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back right here on the 4-Star Sports Radio Network. Welcome back, guys. Sorry for that. I had to get a message out to our guests, make sure we're still good. Talking college softball, women's softball, obviously. College World Series, I guess Oklahoma's still up 2-0. Is that accurate? I know John's out there somewhere. I know John's watching. He said, what a crazy half of OU. What'd you say, John? I didn't see it. A crazy half of OU line. Oh, yeah. They are. They're very young, man. They're young. They're talented. They're deep. Reese Atwood plays catcher. Jada Coleman's outfielder for OU. Utility players, Tyra Jennings. These are all first-team All-Americans that I'm reading off. Freshman All-American, you got Isita Pickering from Oklahoma. You got Katie Stewart, very talented player from Texas. Utility player. Ella Parker, same way. Very talented freshman for Oklahoma. And then you got Tegan Cable, which is the girl pitcher for Texas. So, very impressive. Very, very interesting. You throw a freshman out there on the mound, game one, where it's only a 3-game series. So you win game one, you're in much better position in game two than you are if you lose. I don't know. Some people see it that way. Other people see it as all the pressure is on the team that won the first game versus the team that lost the first game. So I don't know. What's your thoughts? Let's get some engagement. When you look at this series, 3-game series, what's your thoughts on starting a freshman? She gave up a 2-run bomb, but what's your thoughts on it? You start a freshman. If you win game one, is all the pressure on? If Oklahoma wins tonight, is all the pressure on Texas tomorrow, or is all the pressure on Oklahoma? We got questions. Y'all have answers. So reach out to us. Let us know. Waiting on Stephanie Prothro to get back up. Hopefully she will shortly. If not, then we can always reschedule and get her back on. We appreciate everybody watching and listening right now. We are not going to stream the game. Sorry for anybody watching and listening. Apologize. We're not going to stream it. We'll just give score updates as they come. That's the smartest way to do it. Very, 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 very interesting. When you look at Oklahoma right now, they hold the Big 12 all-time record. In 2021, they scored 606 runs batted in. 2024 right now, they sit third all-time at 470 runs batting in. Texas is fifth right now, 2024, 464 runs batted in. And the wild thing is, when you look at this list, all-time Big 12 records, Oklahoma holds 9 of the 10 slots. The only other slot being Texas. That's crazy. Right now, Oklahoma walks has 332. All-time is 348 from Oklahoma in 2013. When you look at hits right now, Texas comes in at 626 hits. That nets them fourth all-time in Big 12. Right now, Oklahoma sits sixth with 598 home runs. Hits. So very, very interesting. Very interesting. This is going to be fun. Like I said, first time 2 teams from the same conference have been in there since 2019. That's unique. That's very different. Very different. But man, you look at this. Oklahoma, they lose to Florida, right? 9-3 on Monday the 3rd. Texas knocks off Stanford to move on. And then Oklahoma had to play Florida yesterday in an absolute incredible ball game. 6-5, 8 innings, extra softball, always good, right? Going to be very interesting. These 2 teams, like I said at the beginning of the show, guys, series is tied 2-2 for this year. Going to be very, very, very interesting. Texas won the regular season series 2-1, and then Oklahoma in the conference tournament. But man, 7 p.m. Oklahoma, I guess, is sitting up 2-0 right now. we'll be back. I mean, we're going to be talking more about this. We'll be back on probably Friday. Probably Friday. Going to get back and talk some softball, talk some college baseball as well. Also, we had some poll questions out yesterday. So one of the questions was, in 2003, Memphis won 9 football games. That's the most games they have won in how many years, right? A lot of people in the poll put 25. The actual answer was 40 years. So then the other one was Arkansas related, and it had to do with, yesterday was Trivia Tuesday, so I kind of mixed the polls and did trivia at the same time. But excuse me, Arkansas, when was the first time they started playing on turf at their field? And that answer was 1969. So a couple of little trivia questions there, a couple of little polls. And then the other question, random question of the day was, what's your go-to dance move? When you're in the club and you're getting after it, what's your go-to move? So, we had a few people respond. The polls are starting to catch on. We appreciate everybody who is, jumping on our content, watching, listening, reading our articles at 4star.live. Go to 4star.live. That's where all of our content is. Also, up top, see there it says subscribe. Click the subscribe button on YouTube. Click the follow button on Facebook. That way you don't miss anything. For example, going to have a couple of articles coming out soon on Memphis football. Going to have also some stuff coming out on the Arkansas Hockey Club. Don't forget, their season's right around the corner as well, starting in September. And also, we're going to have some Naturals. The Naturals scored 10 runs last night over against Wichita. Game 3 starts tonight. Tomorrow is a doubleheader, 2 7-inning games. Tomorrow is also the Walmart shareholders game. So there'll be anywhere from 75 to 90 buses, and I'm not exaggerating when I say no exaggeration at all. Yeah. Anybody got a score update? I don't have the game currently. So if anybody's watching, got a score update, let me know. Texas, Oklahoma. Big time. So y'all let me know. Hey, shoot me a message, post on our wall, whatever. Who do you think's good? Do you think Oklahoma gets the win? Do you think Texas gets the win? Do you care? And then the other question is, the big question, the burning question is, both these teams are coming to the SEC. How does that bode for the SEC? I mean, if you're Arkansas, you'll be excited. They're coming over. If you're, Florida, for example, obviously they competed this year. Oklahoma. But, I mean, are you excited? Different fan bases coming to town. Different teams coming. A lot of rivalries that are already built. Oklahoma is going to be fun. I think Texas will too. And I think when you look at it from a conference standpoint, from the SEC as a whole, not just softball, which is the topic right now, but all sports, basketball, football, baseball, gymnastics, soccer. I mean, you are going to have to step it up if you're the SEC starting next month. Starting when this series is over, because then they officially come over into the conference. I guess the official start would be probably SEC Media Days, I'm guessing, which is in July. So, a lot of fun. Just to let y'all know, I haven't heard back from our guests. It's okay. Not a big deal. I'm honestly not upset. It's fine. We can always get her back on. I know she's eager to come on and talk not only Memphis softball, but she can talk softball too. She's been doing it for quite a long time. But you're listening to Sports Buffet on the 4 Star Sports Radio Network. We appreciate everybody watching and listening tonight. Talking college softball. Really curious to know who y'all think is going to win. That was actually one of the game picks that we were going to do tonight. But yeah, so we got 3 game picks. We got Oklahoma and Texas, and then you've got John's already told me he's got Texas winning it. I've got Oklahoma. Then you've got, and I'll post these games here shortly. But we're gonna pick a college baseball region or super regional, and then we're gonna go kind of off the wall and find a sport that not a lot of people know of, follow, whatever. and then we'll pick a random game every week too. So it'll be 3-game picks. I'll post them tonight, and tomorrow is Talk to Us Thursday. So you guys let us know who you're going to pick. That way, that way we know. And then, hopefully I can find somebody that's good at Excel spreadsheets. We can keep a little tally going of all these games. Give a little winner, give a shout out, come on the show, talk sports with us. We'll get it figured out. But been a lot of fun tonight. Like I said, I appreciate everybody watching and listening right now. Man, Twitter is jumping right now. We've got a good bit of people watching. I appreciate everybody watching and listening. We appreciate everybody. We appreciate everybody watching and listening. We got Stephanie Prothro. I just got a text message from her. She should be joining us here shortly. So we're going to take a quick break. I'll throw this video back on loop real quick. Give me just a few minutes. Let me shoot her a message, and then we'll be good to go. We'll be right back on 4-Star Sports Radio Network. All right, guys. Got Stephanie Prothro getting ready to join here shortly. We apologize for the delay. Hey, she's a softball coach, E1 softball coach. Much more important than my little podcast that we got going. So, but yeah, she'll be jumping on here shortly. All right, I need a score update from somebody. John, whoever, anybody watching, comment, give me a score update. Let me know what's going on. Appreciate everybody watching right now on Twitter. Hey, you guys like, follow, share. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Give us a share. Share this mess. We work really hard at 4-Star Sports Media. The more you guys share, the better off we appreciate all of our followers. We appreciate all the comments, likes, all that good stuff. Quote, retweets, all of it, man. We appreciate it. I got Stephanie Prothro coming on here shortly. Should be on. But it's College World Series, folks. Doesn't get any bigger than this, and it's Texas and Oklahoma. Doesn't get any bigger than that. All right, let's get coaching. Coach, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We got you.
All right.
So let's start with Memphis Softball.
Okay.
Let's start with, not that you're not familiar with the College World Series, but let's just start more at home. You look at the Memphis Softball program continuing to build in the right direction. It's kind of how I put it. It's how I describe it. The foundation is definitely being built in a very positive manner. When you look at this program, obviously, I know you're working hard, diligently, especially tonight. Mm-hmm. But where are we at? I mean, how are we looking for next year? And then also, do you have any camps coming up?
I think we're in a good spot moving into next year. We have 4 signed 24s that all play really high, really competitive travel ball softball. Actually, the incoming pitcher that's coming in from Baylor, Avery Shamlin, she just won a state high school she just won the state for Baylor High School a few weeks ago. So that's really big. And the other 2 that are in the state of Tennessee were 1 game away from making it to state. So, they're pretty stout players. I feel really good about them. They're not just great players, but they're great people. They have great families, and I think they're going to be a really good fit. We're actively in the, in the portal right now, in the transition. I think probably everybody in the country that's not playing right now tonight, besides Oklahoma. I'm sure Oklahoma and Texas made phone calls before the game. Um, but that's the college world we live in now, where the portal is there for folks like us, or anybody that needs like hey, we need this, or we're short here. We kind of need to fill in the gap. So we're working. We've been working really hard this week on getting some really good athletes, I think, committed to coming to visit, and hoping to get them on campus in the next couple weeks. And we will have camp, but it won't be until August. This is a pretty heavy recruiting month for us. We'll be out pretty much every weekend, and usually the tournaments start from like on Thursdays, and they're not over until Sunday. So we're really just going to focus on recruiting for this month, and then in July will be like the national tournament. So in the middle of August we'll start camp. I think we'll announce the camps in July, and we'll do some things in September, and then we'll do those weekly hitting and pitching clinic things that we did last year throughout the fall, which I thought was a really, really positive, really good thing that we did. We got a lot of local kids to come, and kind of just gets us to know them, and it's just gets them on campus, gets them in front of us. It kind of just starts that relationship that's so important.
I agree. I mean, and I think those little kind of mini camps, I guess, is kind of what they're described as. But I think those are great, especially for like you said, the local talent.
Yeah,
And there's local softball, and you're well aware. There's a lot of local softball talent in the Memphis area, not just
yeah,
Memphis,
and yeah, like you're talking anywhere an hour or two away from Memphis. Even like we were getting some of those people to come, which it's not, for once a week and for the price, that it's not bad. You know what I'm saying? You're paying, it's less than a lesson basically, you know what I'm saying? But really it's not about that. It's about us trying to get our feel with the area, get people to know us, get people to come on campus, you know what I'm saying? Get to build relationships with us. Because that's what recruiting is, right? Building relationships.
So, Coach, last question when it comes to Memphis, and you were talking about the portal. What is your message to these players to come to play for Memphis?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I always try to talk about is there's a really good opportunity here. Not a lot's been done in the program, in the short history of the program, and I think it's a really good opportunity to kind of make your mark. I think our conference is a really good softball conference. I think that people that do well in our conference get a lot of attention. If you look at Charlotte, FAU, Wichita, even North Texas, South Florida, like, some of these players that are playing for them are getting, nationally recognized across the country for their stats and their play in softball. And so I think that's like a really big selling point for us, is that you get an opportunity to come here and be impactful, in our program, and, in our conference. And not only that, but you get to play really good softball, against some really good opponents. That's always something I try to stress. And the other thing is that, this is like a foundational piece that you can help here, is about like laying a foundation of going in a good, positive direction, right? We're trying to build something here. And so you can be a part of that, and you can always say you are a part of that. And I think one of the things that I'm relatable in that to a lot of people, is because, that's the reason why I went to Alabama, was I wanted to be somewhere where I could help like build a program into a national contendant, into all these things. And I wanted to pitch, and I wanted to hit. I wanted to play. I didn't care if I was pitching. I didn't care if I was hitting. I didn't, put me at shortstop, put me in the outfield. Like, I wanted to play. I wanted to compete. So I think I try to talk about my story and my journey, just to saying like, these were things that were important to me, like those are things that you need to find out what's important to you. And I can tell you what we can offer here, and, the direction we're going, and then it'll be up to you to come see it for yourself, and then decide, but I think that we're moving in the right direction, and we're going to need some key components along the way to kind of solidify this movement.
Yeah, no doubt. Coach, when you look at, you talked about it, building a solid foundation.
Mm-hmm.
You had a special group of seniors this year. Talk a little bit about the seniors, and then a little bit a little bit about the upperclassmen, the juniors as well, that are really helping build the foundation for this program.
Yeah, I think that, we were small yet mighty in the senior class, so to speak. With Maddie, Naya, Emma Ponda there. And so, the great thing about them is that they had already had a year with me, so they kind of knew what expectations was. But, the bigger class behind them is a junior class, right? So, the juniors that returned were even just as impactful because they knew, how I like things, how I wanted things done, what we were looking for, the expectation, and like the blue collar effort that I would like. So, it was a joint effort in that. I think that a lot of good things that I heard in the exit meetings were, things that I've been wanting to hear from this group of, we want to work harder. We want you to push us harder. Like we want, we're going to do things all like we're already planning things at, our house to do for team gatherings, team functions. Like I try to stress to them all year about like, I can't lead every team activity. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you run a good culture wherever you're at, you have to take the time outside of just whenever you show up for practice to build that. So somebody's got to step out of their comfort zone and like say, hey, I'm going to get everybody together and we're going to go bowling, or we're going to watch a movie, or we're going to get together and watch Memphis football on a Saturday and grill out and cook out and just be around each other. Like, you have to hang out with one another. That's how you build trust. That's how you build that camaraderie. That's how you build and get to know your teammates, so that when you show on the field, that stuff's already in line. And so I thought we did a really good job of like doing more of that this year. But, I'm always going to expect more. And so, but I didn't have to say as much of that this year because they were saying it. So I think that is why I feel good about going into next year's, because I was hearing a lot of that in our exit meetings, which is, I was like, yes, I agree. Yes. I've been preaching it for, 2 years, and yes, I'm with you. Let's do it. How can I help? You know what I mean? Like, how can I help us get there? What else do you need from me? Like trying to help facilitate this environment and this culture that, a lot of people talk about, but they don't really know what it looks like.
And and I'm very open when it comes to that. I kind of chirp back at the fans. It is what it is. But I, you don't get to trash a program if you don't know anything about it. You don't get to talk negatively about a program if you know nothing about it. And
Yeah.
I'm quick. I'm quick to get on social media and say, "Hey, did you watch the game? Did you see what happened? No, I didn't watch. I saw it from school. Okay, move on. Keep
Yeah.
clicking. I mean, that's just kind of. Whatever. I've gotten a lot of pushback on some articles and pushback, but that's fine. I mean, it's just like there's other sports. Ryan Silverfield clapped back last year. I applauded him for that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, I don't understand it because I'm not a D1 coach, but I understand it because you're leading the future. You're leading collegiate student athletes. There's a PR level that you have to maintain. I understand that, but
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a
yeah,
lot of things that go into being a successful program, and there's a lot of ways to win in college athletics. And for me, I look at it as there's a lot of ways for us to win that don't always show up on the record, right? So when I hear things from returning athletes about wanting to be pushed harder, wanting to work harder, that's a win in my book. When I see the development from where we were in the fall with some student athletes to where we ended in May, and how they got better. They were more athletic. They were making adjustments. They were competing harder. That's a win for me too. I think we played. What a lot of people don't know this is that we played one of the top 25 toughest schedules in the country. And that's because I want to play the best people. So it's my fault that we didn't because I scheduled because I scheduled with this is what I thought was going to come back right before the end of the year. I'd made the schedule last February, before, the end of the season and before injuries happened and before, the roster kind of settled. But, like if you want to be the best and you want that and you want to play for conference championships, you got to play the best people. Like that's just it. And, we were in a lot more games than what people realize. and
Oh
we're
yeah,
just missing a few things. You know what I'm saying? Like we need one more arm. We need two more bats. You know what I'm saying? Like we need some more people. Like we need to just feel that winning a little bit more, right? So, and I think that you could, like, if you look back and see, and I think the team saw also is that we were better than last year, even though the record might say something different. And I'm trying not to get caught up in the record and trying to think about all the other winnable things that go on in a program when you're trying to rebuild. And nobody knows unless and I'm not making excuses, because I want to win more than anybody else, and I want to compete with the best more than anybody else, and I want to play the best all the time, and every time I show up I feel like we can win the game. But there's also another side of it is, like our GPA, our team GPA was the highest it's been since I've been here.
yeah,
Like our APR score is 1,000. You know what I'm saying? Like there's other things that we're winning, and that's being more consistent, and we're raising the bar and expectation than just what happens on the field.
100%.
So those are a lot of winnable moments in my books, and if we're doing those things right, I really believe that the other things fall into place, right? And so that's what I'm looking forward to, is like, another, like, the next year, and going into it about all these good things and positive things that we had going on this year, and winnable things.
100%. I mean, I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more. All right, Coach. Let's get to the College World Series,
Yeah,
and I got a question for you.
sure.
I mean, I'm no softball coach, but Texas started a true freshman tonight. That's, to me, that's a lot of faith in that young lady.
For sure. I think that it's really good experience for her. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think that Tegan has really good stuff. When I was at Alabama, we actually watched her, and she's really developed uh, really well here at Texas, and really grown. And she's kind of, she needs this experience, like, especially if he's thinking about next year and the next year. And you know what I'm saying? He's thinking 2 years down the road. She needs to feel this moment. And if there's any time she's going to be nervous, let her get out there in the first inning and get those butterflies in formation and get all the nerves out of her, and let her settle in a little bit, versus putting pressure on her by putting her in tomorrow. If they weren't to win this game, putting her in a more pressure situation tomorrow, as a, like, you have to win kind of game. If it were me, I'd want to be putting my more seasoned veteran in that position, than like my young freshman. You know what I mean? So I think it just says a lot about Tegan. I don't hate it on his standpoint, and there's probably a lot more that goes into it, like matchups, and
Yeah.
who he thinks is going to match up best with their hitters, and how, like, maybe he's only going to pitch her for 2 times through the lineup, and then he's going to switch it. So there's probably more game planning that's going into it that we don't know, but I don't really hate it, because it's, she's gonna be nervous, right? Anyway, so might as well just go ahead and throw her out there, get the nerves, get all that stuff out of it, and she did get out of the inning after the home run. She got out, she gave up that 2-run bomb, and then she got out of it. So I think she'll settle in, and I think we're going to see a really good game tonight.
So it's a 3-game series, and first off, I love it because it really emphasizes win now, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at it, okay, so what's your philosophy? I'm not trying to take away coaching anything, but what's your mindset in a 3-game series? You win today. Is more pressure on the person that won today to win tomorrow, or is it the other way around?
Not so much. I liked how Patty put it, where she said, it's really important for us to come out strong in the first game. And she knows, she's been there quite enough times to know that this first game is really important, because it takes the pressure off of that winning team. Like, it's all on the losing team. Like, you have to win the next game to keep alive, right? And when in 2012, when we were playing for the national championship at Alabama, we lost the first game. So the next game, and like the fun fact about that was, that year in 2012, Alabama we had never won. We never lost 2 games back to back. So the whole entire year. So, like, it didn't phase that team that we lost the first game, because they knew we could come back and win no matter what. So I think some of it has to do with maybe the mindset of some of that might have to do, think about the mindset of your team, and where they are. Like, if they, like Oklahoma, I think got tested by Florida with 2 really good games, and they had to come back, you know, and kind of fight from behind. So I think she says that in saying like maybe they're a little bit more ready to go, you know what I'm saying, in the first game, because they know it's important to get the upper hand. We're like Texas, this is their first time in the national championship, and I don't know if they've ever been in it. It's probably been ages and ages ago, but and since Mike White's been there, this is their first time in the championship series. So I feel like, Patty's group is a little bit more seasoned, where, Mike's group this is their first time for everybody on that team to be in this kind of championship series.
Yeah, they've made the College World Series. I think they said 7 times. Obviously, never won it.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's got to be a statue of Patty Castro outside Oklahoma softball facility.
I'm sure.
I mean, today. But she's incredible. I mean, when you look at the landscape of college softball, of course, you got her. I think Courtney Dice was a very talented coach. Obviously, yourself. The guy at Alabama, I can't remember his name. I can see him.
Murph.
Obviously, you know who he is.
Yeah.
If you just had to come up with a list, this is an off the wall question. I'm sorry. No, it's just when you said gas, though, my mind got going. So, like, who would you say are probably your favorite coaches around the country?
Yeah, well, I mean, you obviously named some of them already. Murph, Patty, obviously with what she's done. Tim, you can't deny what Mike White's done at Oregon and now at Texas. Lonnie at Florida State, Kenny at Oklahoma State. I gotta shout out Marissa at Duke. In 7 years, and that program started. It's just 7 years old. Like they've already made their first College World Series appearance. Obviously Jessica Allister at Stanford. She's done a great job at Minnesota and now at Stanford. I think there's, I could keep going down the list, Karen, I think her and Ralph, they basically are Tennessee, like softball in the state of Tennessee.
They're now at Auburn, by the way.
Yes. So there's some really good, and that's like a big debate is about like, who are the top 10 or top 5 best coaches in the country? And I think it's just, like consistency matters. And, Murph, Patty, Tim, obviously Kenny, now Mike, Lonnie, like those 6 are consistently getting their teams into the World Series. You know what I mean? So I think there's a lot to be said with that, because that's not an easy thing to do.
No, not at all. Coach, we got a question from John Starr before I let you get out of here. He's just curious, is there any spoilers for a schedule next year? I mean, are we going to see Alabama or? So,
I don't really have any spoilers. We just firmed up our tournaments at home. So, we'll play at home the first weekend in February, opening weekend. Then we'll go to ULM and we'll go to Northwestern State, Louisiana. And we'll have another home tournament here. That'll be our 4 preseason ones. And then we open up conference. We're trying to get midweeks. Obviously, we'll play Ole Miss. I'll try to get Mississippi State on the schedule. As far as that, I think as far as Alabama is concerned,
I had to just slot it in there and see,
Yeah, I think that I would be more comfortable playing them in the fall first to kind of see where we're at before we put them on the schedule in the spring. I was trying to get Tennessee on the schedule this year, but weather kind of affected our game.
Yep.
Because that would have been a really great experience for our kids and for the city that we're playing at.
Yeah, no doubt. Coach Stephanie Prothro has joined us tonight on the Sports Buffet. It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it's been nothing but college softball tonight with one of the most talented coaches I know of. She's a leader of the University of Memphis, and she's building a program the right way. Like she talked about earlier, in case you missed it, the record means nothing. There's other wins that are happening that's going to make this program much better starting next year, to be honest with you. But, Coach, we appreciate your time tonight. And, man, we know you're a busy woman, so we appreciate you carving out a few minutes.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate you.
All right. Coach Stephanie Prothro joined us tonight talking women's softball all around. I mean, she's been doing it for a long time. And she's got pedigree behind her. That's what a lot of Memphis fans, I guess, seem to forget, is that there's pedigree behind Coach Prothro, and she understands how to build a program the right way. But yeah, Coach Stephanie Prothro joined us tonight. Man, she is incredible, dude. She's so good. We appreciate her. We appreciate everybody watching and listening. We're jumping right now on Twitter. We got like 27, 28 people watching on Twitter. We appreciate everybody watching and listening. As always, we're going to jump off here. We will be back Friday. I'll get this uploaded as quick as possible, get it out on all the social medias, and tag Coach as well. Once again, Coach, we appreciate you. We will be back right here on the 4 Star Sports Radio Network.